It's Tuesday, the 31st of August, 2021. Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Headlines, the business news you need in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, then find more news and interviews in our longer daily podcast called Fear and Greed. In today's headlines, Andrew Forrest banks a $4 billion dividend cheque as Fortescue Metals doubles its profit. Plus, another record day of COVID cases in New South Wales, but the news is better in Victoria and the ACT. Hurricane Ida slams into New Orleans. And Crown Resorts announces a huge loss. Our lead story today, Australia's second richest person, Andrew Forrest, will receive $4 billion in dividends for the last financial year, thanks to soaring iron ore prices and a record profit from his company, Fortescue Metals. The miner announced a $10.3 billion profit for the last financial year, more than double its previous best in 2020, triggering a 6.6% jump in its share price yesterday. Mr. Forrest owns 36% of the group. The iron ore miners, Fortescue, BHP and Rio Tinto, have been the standout performers of the earnings season, which finishes today. In total, the three have reported $65 billion in profits for the last financial year and paid out massive dividends. Demand from China was strong as the world's second largest economy emerged from the COVID slowdown. Prices were at record levels and the main competitor, Brazil's Vale, was having trouble supplying ore. As Dr. Forrest has become richer, his horizons have broadened. The massive dividend will help finance philanthropic initiatives via his Minderoo Foundation, new mining business ventures, and clean energy projects. Developing renewable energy has become a major focus for Dr. Forrest, and yesterday he called on the federal government to set a date for carbon neutrality. Good luck to him. In overseas news, Wall Street hit yet another record high overnight as tech stocks surged, led by Apple, which is now worth more than $2.5 trillion. European markets were also stronger. Hurricane Ida devastated New Orleans in the US over the past 24 hours, with residents told to stay indoors as fires burned out of control and more than 1 million homes and businesses were without power. The storm hit the city on the 16th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, the costliest cyclone in US history. The city's rebuilt storm levees are holding for now, but keep in mind it took a couple of days for them to break when Katrina hit, so the city isn't out of trouble yet. COVID-19 is surging in the US, primarily among unvaccinated citizens, and the European Union is set to place new restrictions on non-essential travel from the country by unvaccinated people. Meanwhile, South African scientists overnight said they'd identified a new coronavirus variant, which was more transmissible and had an increased ability to evade antibodies. And today is a deadline for withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan 20 years after entering the country. The US has scaled back its civilian evacuation mission as it scrambles to withdraw its troops. Locally, New South Wales recorded 1,290 new cases of COVID yesterday, another record, and 4 more deaths, taking the national toll beyond 1,000 since the beginning of the pandemic. Premier Gladys Berejiklian warned October would be the state's worst month for the health system. In Victoria, the number of cases was 73. Health Minister Martin Foley said a lack of Pfizer vaccines was hindering the state and holding back businesses from reopening. While he said he didn't begrudge New South Wales getting extra Pfizer doses, it was time for a redistribution. The number of cases in the ACT fell again to 12. Though an extension of the 3-week lockdown is likely. It comes as a survey says that Australians are more worried about job losses and their mental health than they are about a large breakout of COVID-19. The YouGov survey commissioned by News Corp Australia shows a changing attitude towards lockdowns, with people wanting schools to remain open. 2/3 of respondents thought vaccinations were the way back to normal life, and only 22% thought lockdowns were needed until the number of COVID cases reaches 0. Virgin Australia has followed the lead of Qantas in making COVID-19 jabs mandatory for all frontline staff from mid-November. Office-based workers will have to be inoculated by the middle of March. Chief Executive Jane Herdlicker said it was the only way back to normal freedom of movement. Crown Resorts posted a $262 million loss last financial year, thanks to rolling lockdowns and higher costs around restructuring the group. Crown has had a horror 12 months, fronting major inquiries in New South Wales, Victoria and Western Australia, as well as having to close facilities because of COVID. Total revenue was down more than 30% for the year. Crown now faces the possibility of losing or having its licences suspended, or in the case of Sydney, delayed. Spring selling season starts this weekend for the property market. Normally, that's the busiest time of the year for the real estate agents, but auction listings in Sydney are down 29%, according to SQM Research. In Melbourne, there are 12 times as many listings as last year, mostly because that city was in hard lockdown 12 months ago. That's the Fear and Greed business headlines for today. Make sure you hit follow so you get it every morning, and search for our longer daily podcast called Fear and Greed. We also release a daily interview. Today's a 101 on investing in CFDs. Don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook and Twitter, or go to fearandgreed.com.au. I'll be back later with the afternoon market report. I'm Sean Aylmer. Have a great day.